How many grams of protein have you had today?
About 50 grams.
And what are you aiming for?
135.
135.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're going to talk today about how to lose weight counting macros. I'm Coach Jay.
Coach Wendy.
Let's get right to it. So, Coach, what are macros?
Yes, so macros are short for macronutrients, right?
Uh-huh.
So you're looking at protein, carbohydrates, and fats.
Yeah, protein, carbohydrates, and fats. So this is like a nutrition plan.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. And so when people talk about counting macros, what does that mean?
Basically, it means that you have a target, right, every day. So you have a specific number or gram of protein that you have to hit every day.
Yeah.
Same thing with carbohydrates and fats. So the idea is for you to hit those three numbers every day, consistent.
Carbohydrates?
Carbohydrates, yeah.
All right, so the way we do macros is we do protein, fat, and carbohydrates. All right. So it's essentially another way to like count calories, right? But we're breaking it down into the type of macronutrients, right?
Correct.
Are there other nutrients that matter besides those three?
At the beginning, no, right? But you do have to be aware to not overdo it with the sodium or sugar.
Right.
But that's not specifically what we're looking to focus on when we're tracking macros.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I mean, you should be aware of the other things too.
Right. And why do people do this as a way to lose weight?
Yes. One, which is my favorite one, you're not restricted from any foods, right? So basically you can have whatever you want, not change your diet, right?
Yeah.
As long as you're hitting that protein every day, your carbs and your fats.
So instead of like eliminating sugar or a bunch of stuff, you can have whatever you want.
Exactly.
Right, but you can only have so much.
Exactly.
Yeah. Actually, I think, speaking of that, I remember reading something about the Twinkie diet. Have you ever heard of the Twinkie diet?
I have. I think me and you talked about this.
Yeah, where a guy just ate Twinkies for like 12 weeks and lost like 35 pounds.
Yeah.
We'll do a video about the Twinkie diet. But like basically what, he was able to just control his calories just by eating Twinkies, and he proved that like you can actually.
And most likely he was probably consistent every day too as well.
Yeah.
Right?
That's not very many Twinkies, and that's got to be pretty gross.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's not what we're going to do with macros.
No.
So when you coach people through counting macros, you basically say you can have this many carbs, this many proteins, this much fat.
Yes.
And it's based on like what? How do you do that?
So it's based on different factors. So number one is what specifically their goals are, right?
Yeah.
So if someone wants to lose weight, great. So I want to make sure that they're having the right amount of carbohydrates and the right amount of fats and the right amount of protein, right?
Yeah.
The other thing too is what they do for a living and what they do for training, right? This person sit all day, right? Or is this person always on their feet? How many times does this person work out, right?
Yeah.
So the level of activity that they're doing every day. And then two, also, are they a mom, right? Are they a single parent maybe, right?
Right.
So it's more than just body composition or just, height, weight, and all that stuff. It's more than that, right?
Yeah.
But the number one thing that I always focus on, it's the goal. What is their goal?
Right. So why is this better than just like counting calories?
I think it's because with counting calories, you're not really fueling your body the macronutrients that it might need. For a person, let's say, that wants to build muscle, right? They're just counting calories, then they're most likely lacking protein.
Right.
And in order to build muscle, you need the right amount of protein that your body needs.
Yeah.
Right? For someone who wants to lose fat, right, or wants to lose weight or body fat, then you don't know if they're overdoing it with their fats every day. As long as they're meeting the calories, there's no problem, right?
Yeah.
Not saying that, counting calories doesn't work. It does work, but it doesn't go specific with the current goal that you have.
So it might help you like lose weight, but it's
Yeah.
not going to help you like with your performance, and it might hurt your energy. Like we were talking about the Twinkie diet.
Yes.
That guy probably had terrible energy throughout the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And let's just say that this person also wants to lift body weight back squats, right? Then
It's everyone's goal.
Yeah. So it doesn't go the specific. I think it doesn't target the specific goals that person has.
Yeah, and it helps you balance, I think, a little
Exactly.
bit more. Yeah.
So the very first thing I do, especially for someone who's never done it before, I will have them start tracking their food, every single thing that they're having each day, either on an app or on a journal, right?
Just to see where they're at.
Just to see where they're at, and also for them to start building this whole tracking thing, because you are required to track your food and log your food, weigh your food, right, in order to do macros. macros.
Okay, so that's step one,
That's
is
step
to track
one.
the food.
Yep.
So what's step two?
Step 2, then we will get into is buy a food scale, right? Because you are going to need a food scale in order to track macros. So that'll be the second thing. Now, if a person, let's say, that can't really handle, is super inconsistent with like tracking in an app, just tracking in an app, then they might have some issues going on.
Yeah.
It's going to just get harder for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's basically just building a habit of tracking your food.
Yeah.
Right. That's
So
the
you-
number one thing.
Okay, so that's number one.
Yeah.
Number two is
Yeah.
like, so they're tracking their food, they're consistent, then what?
Then after that, then we start talking about let's go ahead and hit a protein.
Right.
Week 2, right?
Yeah.
Let's see if you can hit 100 grams of protein every single day.
Yeah, that's actually the biggest thing that we find is a lot of times people have no problem hitting their carbohydrates.
for sure.
They have no problem hitting their fat. It's that they aren't getting enough protein.
Correct.
And people think they get enough protein,
But they don't.
but they don't.
Yeah, because they're not measuring that, right? They're
Yeah.
not weighing it until like, oh, this one egg has this amount of protein.
Yeah.
So it's more about also you're learning a lot about foods in general too as well.
Right. And you know, when we're talking about performance and sort of weight loss, like protein is super important.
It is.
Right?
It definitely is, and that's one thing that I see that most people that don't track or are not really actively doing something with their diet or nutrition every day, they don't have protein at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so they start tracking their protein, and then what?
And then afterwards, right, depending on what I see, then I have them start tracking all 3 things.
Right. Okay.
Right, and then from there on, we just do it every day.
Yeah. So you've been tracking your macros for a long time.
Yeah, I want to say for like about 3 years.
Right.
Yeah.
And are you do you hit your macro numbers every day?
Oh no. No, like out of all 3 years, I think maybe consistently I've hit like 5 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not like you don't have to be perfect.
No.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
no, definitely. That's not about perfection. It's mostly just you being aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just awareness.
Yeah. And so even if you're not perfect, you can still see progress
Oh
doing
yeah,
this?
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, let's just say that you just had like a crappy week and you just went over your carbs, but then you tracked your food regardless of that. You're aware of that, and maybe possibly you're hitting your protein right, but
Right.
going over your carbs.
Yeah,
It doesn't
yeah,
mean
yeah.
that you're gaining the weight back, right?
Yeah.
Or you're feeling like crap in the workouts.
Because I think part of what stops people from doing this is they feel like they have to be perfect, and they're
Yeah.
just like, they're doing, it's so much detail and all of this stuff, and it feels like overwhelming for people.
Yeah.
Like how do you deal with folks that have that?
Yeah, so for
concern?
someone who's feeling overwhelmed and like, hey, I'm not hitting my protein, I'm going over my carbs, I'm going over my fats. Okay, why don't we focus on just staying under the carbs,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
then don't worry about hitting your protein, don't worry about your fat, let's just worry about carbs.
Yeah.
So just picking one thing.
Yeah.
I think we just want you to feel successful, right?
Right.
If you feel successful, then that pushes you to actually, okay, I can do this.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Let me see if I can hit all 3 things tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want to lose weight, tracking macros, this is kind of our 3-step program. It's actually pretty simple. The hardest part, I think, is at the beginning.
Yeah, you're just
Yeah.
gonna have to change, right? Or you have an extra task on your day that's added, right?
Yeah.
So it's gonna get hard for the first 2 weeks, but it gets easier.
Yeah,
It definitely
does
gets
get
easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So do us a favor, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button below, and also make sure you subscribe so that you'll be notified whenever we publish a new video. If you track macros, or even if you don't, how many grams of protein do you think you are eating on a daily basis? Post it below in the comments. How many grams of protein do you think you're eating? We'll see you next time.